G'day legends, I hope you're all amazing. On today's video, I want to talk about my favorite pieces of guitar gear that I tried in 2025, gear that I found particularly useful, inspiring, or straight up indulgent. But first, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for continuing to support what I do here on my channel, for everyone who watches the videos, people who take the time to hit the subscribe and the like button, to my amazing patrons who keep the lights on in here, and to everybody who takes the time to check out the music that I make with my band Ragdoll. I thank you all so much. This would not be possible without all of you. Having said that, I want to talk about some pieces of gear that I found really awesome in 2025, and that I think a bunch of you found really awesome as well. Now, there's going to be things that I missed, of course, so feel free to tell me in the comments section below. Let me know what your favorite pieces of gear were in 2025, what you're looking forward to in 2026, and we will dive straight in by taking a look at 5 of my favorite effects pedals. There's always so many amazing pedals that come out every single year, whether they are by small boutique makers or some of the big dogs like Boss and MXR. We'll start in the big dog league though, because one of my favorite and most useful pedals that I think came out in 2025 is the Boss XS1 Polyshifter. It's basically a Boss drop tune pedal, but you can also tune up. You can do detune, and you can use it as a momentary whammy style effect. They also did a bigger version of this, the XS100, that's basically Boss's take on a Digitech whammy, but I think the single stomp box size XS1, it tracks really fast and accurately, it sounds good, and it's a Boss compact pedal. It's basically indestructible, so that one definitely belongs on the list as a useful utility device. The next one, this one's straight up indulgent, and this one comes from Ghost Note Audio. It is their Swirls pedal. This is basically an 80s rack in a pedal. It does tri-chorus, it does detune, and it does compression. It also lets you load the firmware of some of their other pedals onto it, which I really appreciate, and that one is just great for straight up indulgent 80s style tones. On my best of list for 2024, I had the KMA Endgame. Basically, the Geminis takes the double tracker from the Endgame and puts it into a compact pedal. I love the way it sounds. I love the fact they added some pitch detune options on there, and it can sound absolutely bunter. I think maybe my favorite compact pedal for 2025, though, was the Rockman X100 pedal from MXR. Straight up indulgent there. It does all the things the old X100 does. It's quieter, it's smaller, it fits on a pedal board. What's not to love about those 80s Rockman sounds? And then this might be a controversial choice to include in the effects category, but I kind of couldn't fit this one in anywhere else on the video. It's the Fractal AM4. You've got Fractal amp and cab modeling and their effects in a compact pedalboard friendly solution. I've got a bunch of videos with this one that I have put out recently and a bunch more to come, so keep your eyes peeled for those. But let's hear a couple of little clips from the videos that I did with all of these pedals. Next up, let's talk about electric guitars, and I do want to cover a couple of different price points on here. I think the best affordable guitar that I tried this year was the ERT Omni 24. Essentially, it's their take on an Ibanez AZ style guitar, stainless steel frets, a roasted maple neck, jewel humbuckers on there. For the price that you can get these now, it's a no-brainer. And I know a bunch of you have gone and checked them out and actually bought several of them so that you can use them as your gigging guitars, which is super cool to hear about. Moving up a tier, I would say probably the Hills HN6. This is a headless guitar with a lot of nice features. Again, stainless steel frets, roasted maple neck. You can see this is going to be a theme on here. Fishman Fluence pickups. I've been playing that guitar a lot around the house, and I have taken it out and gigged and traveled with it. Again, for the money, I'm just really impressed with what they're able to put out in terms of tones and fit and finish. Next up, PRS have been killing it with their SE series, and even though it's one of the more expensive SEs ever made, I want to include the NF53. Essentially, it is their take on an early 50s Telecaster. The thing that really stood out to me was a massively chunky neck on there. Chunky, but comfortable. The pickups gave me this sort of Telecaster meets Firebird sort of tone, and I took it straight out of the box, took it to a gig, and it was super stable. Hardtail guitar that I think would be great if you were playing modern country music, you were in an indie rock kind of band, or you just wanted a point of difference with a hardtail guitar for your rock covers band. It covered all those kind of bases, and it could do the greasy thing as well. Moving into what I would probably consider the top price tier for modern manufactured guitars, the Fender Ultra Luxe Vintage. This is essentially them taking on things like the Sir Classic Antique series on there. You've got a very lightly checked nitro finish on here, but you've got a super smooth feeling neck with a 10 to 14 inch radius compound board and nicely sized stainless steel frets on here. This stays in tune really well. I took this guitar on tour with me when I went to the UK and played it for basically 3 weeks straight. I think I had to change the strings twice on there, and it performed really, really well doing the club cabaret gigs that I'm doing. I think this was totally the vibe, and just pretty inspiring to pick up every single time. Even though it is the most expensive guitar on this list, I think it just kind of oozes quality, and it does kind of bridge that gap between a production Fender and more of what they offer for the custom shop. I think if you wanted to spec this as a custom shop guitar, it would probably be a whole lot more expensive on there, but works really, really well for what I like to do, and it gives me the 80s Gary Moore vibe. And then finally, the dark horse in this lineup, one that really, really surprised me, the Tyler JTG. This is their Made in China series, and if you're into the 80s greasy thing and you're into the Tyler thing, and let's just show this headstock on here to trigger everybody who doesn't like the Tyler headstock, you kind of grow to love this headstock because these things play so well. Out of the box, this had an absolutely perfect setup. The neck profile is pretty different to say something like the Fender Ultra Luxe. It's a little bit deeper and narrower, but it is beautifully comfortable. The rolled edges on here are, again, absolutely perfect. I really couldn't find anything to nitpick with this guitar, and I think it would compare really, really well to one of their Made in Japan guitars, and dare I say it, one of their Made in USA guitars, which are considerably more expensive. So let's hear a bunch of tones with those guitars that I just talked about. Next up, talking about amps. Now, I didn't really get to try a whole bunch of standalone amplifiers, but one that really stood out to me earlier in the year was the Headfirst Evil Joe. Headfirst came out with the Alta P1 preamp, which has just pipped the Evil Joe for me for one of the coolest releases of the year. It is an all-tube preamp paired with some 2Notes power amp simulation and IR loading. You've got stereo output, so you can have the 2Notes cabs, the double tracker, the built-in EQ and reverb, while sending a direct signal to a power amp and a cabinet on there. Jason at Headfirst just knows the sort of tones that I like. So it's absolutely no surprise that I love this thing. I recently did a demo video with it, and it's something that I found really inspiring to play with. And it has that extra element on there where it would be super useful to take out as a direct solution. If you still want a tube preamp, but you want all those modern conveniences of IR loading and power amp simulation in a rack mount unit, kind of hard to go past that one. In a similar vein from Synergy, the Syn 20 IR, I think, is one of the best small tube amplifiers ever made, with the caveat that its tone is massively going to depend on the type of module that you put in there. I really like it with the Uberschall module and the Killer Kali module that Synergy came out with. I think it's just such a light and compact solution, having the voicing switches in there, having built-in IR loading on there, and having the ability to drive a cabinet with a head, make it a really compact, ideal gigging solution for a lot of people. And then at the other end of the spectrum, one of the cheapest pieces of gear that I checked out this year that sounded way better than it had any right to, the Joyo Jam Buddy 2. It's just a kind of pedal amp in-between thing. You can stream Bluetooth audio onto it. It's got a built-in speaker. Really nice size on there. It's not super compact, but it is definitely compact enough to chuck in a gig bag and travel with. And I was kind of blown away with how good some of the gain sounds and effects were on there. You can just plug into it. It's really, really affordable. And one of those things where I think at that price point, it's hard to go wrong if you just want something to play while you're bumming out around the house. That's it for me. I want to hear from all of you now. What was your favorite piece of guitar gear that you acquired in 2025? There's always so many more pieces of gear that come out than I have time to check out on the channel. So if there's something that you think I really should check out, please let me know in the comments section below. And again, thank you so much for your support in 2025. I hope you have an amazing holiday season, and I look forward to seeing you all again in 2026. Take it easy. Now go play your guitars and make some glorious guitar noises.